So this video is for the Green Mountain Transit supervisors and I guess the head of security named Dan, because he can access the security video, all of the various security angles inside and outside of the buses. Specifically today, I was on a bus that departed Walmart. It was the route number 1. Departed Walmart. Sorry, I had to look at the schedule. It departed Walmart at 4:31 p.m. Friday, June 26th. The guy driving is a piece of work. Got a long history with him. The last time I posted about him, he was working with what appeared to be some, I just say brother, because he was a person of color, black. I don't know how he identifies, Native American, black, whatever. And the guy kept off this black man at the Green Mountain Transit Center outside of this whatever bus this guy was driving. I think I was going out to Walmart again. And it was dark because it was winter. It was very cold. It may not have been that late in the evening. I couldn't see myself going out to Walmart late because of after 7 o'clock, the buses are run every hour. So this guy's offering me every drug under the sun, and drug dealers just don't do that. If you're a long-time customer that they know is going to bring them a lot of business, if you're getting sick, if you've helped them out with a lot of things, then yeah, they'll do that for you. But they don't just walk up to any rando person. For all they know, you could be a cop. So I was already suspicious, and then I kept noticing he was real friendly with this very racist driver that was driving the Route 1 today that departed Walmart at 4:31, and I believe now the schedule says we're due at University Heights at 4:59, around 5 o'clock. I couldn't post about this on the bus in real time because there was no internet. It would say connected without internet. So I was connected to the Wi-Fi, but there was no internet access. The guy was road raging, the bus driver. And he's been pulled on buses before. I was on one bus, and there was a little black lady on there with her laundry, and he just raised all holy hell because of her cart. Never mind, she said, I've been riding the buses all day with this. I never had a problem till I got on your bus. And we were talking about his racism. After we had pulled off, his reaction was so nasty that the supervisor, the little shill Hispanic or Native American, same difference, supervisor got on there, and then Dan got on, the head of security, and tried to sort it out. And their remedy wasn't actually in Americans with Disability Act compliance, but I understand why Dan did things the way he did. So anyway, this guy's road raging. I believe the first road rage on right before today's accident, was about 5 o'clock. And he was yelling. We were in traffic, and we had already passed all of the interstate access and exits points. We were inbound. We had already passed Michael's Arts and Crafts. We were in the university area. I wasn't really paying that much attention. I was thinking about how I'm going to do my email, the stuff I needed to point out about this driver to Officer View, and I was thinking about a whole lot of other stuff. Plus, we're sitting in traffic, so it's really hard to gauge time during rush hour traffic. But I remember when so let me go back to my point. So he's road raging at somebody, and we're stopped in traffic, and as he pulls up and comes to a stop at some light, he starts yelling at the car that he can see through the door that we as passengers get on to board. He's looking to his right and yelling and yelling and yelling at the, what do you think now? You cut me off. Payback's a bitch, ain't it? And he was being so stupid that his drug dealer, another white drug dealer that they sent to try to give me drugs and probably try to kill me with the lethal dose of fentanyl, yelled at him and said, "You got to go postal on everybody." Now, he could get away with that. If I had said anything or anybody anything, he would have made him get off the bus. That's the kind of narcissistic. And to show his racism, if you go watch the video all the way back to the mall, he lets a white guy board at the mall. And the guy says, "Hold on." He gets on. The white guy gets on. He's got a couple of bags. He's homeless. There's a black lady, apparently Muslim maybe, based on her headdress, sitting in the disabled seat. Guy tells her to scoot over. He sits down, then he looks at me and goes, "You got $1?" This driver's going, "Hey, you got your fare? You got your fare?" And he keeps looking. The guy that got on it told the black lady to leave. Now, this is a white guy, homeless white guy. Anybody got $1? Well, the drug dealer "I got you, pal, I got you," and gets up and pays the fare. And I just felt that it was staged. This is the same crap that a lot of their snitches because they're not any type of licensed professional. Undercover ICE agents. They pull this crap to play on my sympathy, and because they know I'm a real advocate, but they've played the same game too many times. So I didn't offer them anything. I didn't cuss. I wanted to cuss him out for making that black lady move so he could set his ass down in the disabled section. He didn't even pay his fucking fare, and then he's gonna ask me as a Native American woman to pay his fucking fare. Get the fuck out. So he's holding up the show. Watch the video. We're sitting there, but that driver ain't saying shit to him. He ain't going off on that white boy who just boarded his bus without paying, lied to him, said, "Oh, hold on, I gotta find my money." And meanwhile, he's asking all of us, telling other people to move over so he can sit down, and he ain't even paid his fare, and then starts begging us for money. But the driver doesn't say shit, okay? So you keep that in mind, and I guess we were at it says here we're at the mall at around 4:52, give or take a couple minutes. So we get down the road, and we get down around University Heights, and that's when he spouts off to some driver to his right that he can see, and then he goes, and he looks up in the mirror, looks back at all of us, and he's trying to create a lynch mob. That's why I call him Klan Boy. I filmed 47 lynchings, and they all started with the crap this guy is constantly pulling. Starting shit, blaming it on the person that he victimizes, plays victim, and then tries to rally everybody to his side. He was like, "You see, they did this and they did that," and he's like, and we're looking at him like, "You lost your mind?" But he was so vile that his own snitch called him out, said, "You ain't got to go postal on everybody." Okay? So that was around University Heights. They're down. As you go down, I don't know what that name of that street is. I can't see it on this map. As we get closer to Church Street, I think we're in front of the high school. It's some little kid's school, or maybe it's a Murder Mart. It's somewhere around the school or Murder Mart. And he's starting to yell at somebody on his left. And I look over at the car, and it's a black guy driving. And I'm like, well, that figures. And the car was pretty close to the bus. He said the guy was crowding him. You're a fucking bus. You're a fucking bus driver with a whole lot of people. You're a big fucking moving object. If somebody's crowding you, stop. Slow down. Let them get past you so you can scooch back over closer to the center lane. Do it. Focus on what the fuck you're doing instead of cussing somebody else out for what they're doing. Now, keep in mind, this is as far back as either the high school or the middle school. I don't know what that school is. The number 6 inbound turns left there, and the next stop is at that tattoo place where you can go up to the library. That's about where, in the general area. I think we were at that Murder Mart light. I don't think we'd passed the Murder Mart yet, but I think we were in traffic, stopped at that light when he was yelling about. I think it was an African American male. I couldn't tell his age, but he was not heavy set. He may have been tall and thin or short or thin. I don't know. And I think it was like a mint green, some sort of SUV. It wasn't it wasn't like a big 1-ton dually or anything. Now, the son of a bitch, this is a fucking professional driver who's been driving for decades. Knows he's getting into the downtown area where there's a lot of cars parked and a lot of people crossing the street. There's a lot of foot traffic. Instead of focusing on what he's doing, he's road raging and apparently sideswipes a parked car that's in front of Mike. I don't think it was right in front of Mike Pizza's. I think it was between Mike's Pizza. They're on the corner across from the fire station and the Murder Mart and Church Street. You know, it was basically in front of the Chittenden County Courthouse, but on the opposite side of the street that car was parked. He sideswipes the car and takes the mirror off. He doesn't even realize it. We all feel it. We hear it. And again, it was his snitch, his drug dealer snitch, a different one that he sent to try to, him and Weinberger, and see, Green Mountain Transit is contracted with the city. And they're involved in a lot of ugliness, apparently, because I got 3 drivers that have threatened me. So he stops after his snitch yells and says, you took the mirror off, and he stops and he goes, I did? Like, he wasn't even paying attention. So he stops the bus, you know, I would say a good bus length or more away from the car that he hit. He finally stops, opens the door, and the owner of the car comes up to the bus and is talking to him, and the fucking bus driver is blaming it on the black driver who ain't even around. Well, he was crowding me over. How are you going to blame a little SUV on the other side for your actions, for you taking off somebody's mirror? If you're paying attention to what the fuck you're doing, if somebody's crowding you, you just put on your brake and let them go on by. And then you scooch back over closer to the middle lane or whatever, and go on about your business. You worry about what you're doing. That car was too small. And another thing, those drivers have a great big window. He could have opened up his window and said, "Yo, brother, can you scooch over a little bit? You're crowding me." And he didn't even need to do that. You just touch your brakes a little bit, and within a matter of 3 or 4 seconds, that car that is crowding you is going to be past you, and the issue's over and done with. Using just basic common sense. So I'm like, crap, I wanted to take his picture. I was actually getting ready to start making a video, but I couldn't upload it or even make a regular post with a photograph because I had no internet connection. So I start taking notes in my little thing here, and I put Route 1 inbound around 5:10 is when the accident happened, which is just about right because it says we're at Downtown Transit Center at 5:12. Well, with traffic and the guy making the bus run late, not paying his fare out at the mall, it makes sense. That bus is almost never on time to the transit center. But we're what? A mile away, and not a mile as the bird flies, but he's got to drive all the way down to the waterfront, then go back up, then backtrack. So a mile in driving time. We're about 5 minutes from the transit center at 5:10. So give a couple minutes for it being late. That's about right. According to the schedule based on my notes. I said I think about 5:10 is when he sideswiped the car. And I said, check all bus video, meaning the outside video and the inside video of him and his road raging up to 10 minutes prior to the accident to see his road rage at the other cars. And I also noted that when I got off the bus, there was hardly anybody on the platform, so it was relatively private. And I saw Dan, the security supervisor, out there. And I started heading down to talk to him. Well, he went inside of his office. So I said, I'll wait, see if he comes out. Well, he came out, and I said, Dan, can you access the interior video footage on these buses? And he said, yes. I said, well, you're going to want to look at the video of the driver who just took somebody's mirror and sideswiped somebody's car. He was road raging. And Dan went, like, he's heard it before. This is nothing new. And I said, I've seen him do it before. I'm terrified to get on the bus with him. And he rages at us for nothing. He rages at other drivers. And if you say anything, no matter how cordial and diplomatic, he threatens to put you off the bus. And Green Mountain Transit, I have been reporting this to Green Mountain Transit for years. Green Mountain Transit always lets him, the son of a bitch is still fucking there. Despite all my reports. And I've got the emails to prove it. To info@greenmountaintransit.com. So that lady, that insurance company of that auto, matter of fact, Green Mountain Transit's insurance can probably refuse to pay for the damages because Green Mountain Transit knew this guy was a fucking liability. They knew he was a violent rapist, Jim Crow piece of racist shit that had lots of reports against him, not just from me. And that road rage he does, it's, if Dan and the supervisor and independent investigators were to just start watching all of the video from all of his routes, I bet you see a lot of that. I bet you see a lot of abuse on the passengers and him cussing out and yelling at other drivers for nothing, for shit he's doing, or because he just doesn't want to be patient and do his job and focus on how he can drive that vehicle safely, regardless of what other drivers are doing. And that is a big part of driving safely. I remember my dad had a Corvette, and he would let me drive it, but he wouldn't let Mom drive it. Well, she was pissed. He says, Mitzi, you don't fucking pay attention. And he said, it's not so much that I'm afraid you're going to wreck it. You don't fucking pay attention, and if somebody else runs a red light, you'll get killed. Corvettes are made out of fiberglass. You're in a crash in a Corvette, you're a dead motherfucker. Period. Dad knows, or knew at the time, that I pay attention to everything. And if somebody else is acting stupid, I don't just let him hit me and then play victim. I try to avoid. It's called defensive driving. And don't tell me that a bus driver, a government contracted city transit bus driver, doesn't grasp the concept of defensive driving. So I told Dan there was road rage going on, and I wasn't personal about it. I didn't go on and on and on about it. So then the supervisor, I guess his name is Dave or John, I don't remember which, nice fella. And Dan said, would you come and talk to him? I said, sure, or I can send an email, doesn't matter. And then I looked up the clock. I says, I got till 5:30, so we're good. And I told the supervisor, well, right when the supervisor got out of his car and came up to me, the driver was standing right there. He's a fucking murderer. They've already killed 4 local people, 2 of whom were complete innocent. The other 2 were murderers who murdered the other 2, were involved in it, and involved in trying to kill me. Murdered Michaela Raines, involved in that. Worked with these drug dealing snitches, though I don't think the black guy, I think he was lied to. That night when that black guy was trying to push drugs on me, I think they probably lied to him and said, oh, this woman, she's Klan and her mother is Klan and they murdered a lot of people. That part's right, but I'm trying to get those murder victims justice, and he's working with my mother to kill me, so he's the Klan fuck. So anyway, I let the guy know I'm a civil rights investigator and that there's a hit out on me because I suggested the Mizzou football player protest, and I got all these Jim Crow cops under criminal investigation, including the bus drivers, and I motioned at the driver. And I said, they're real good at setting people up. They'll have you kill me. They'll have somebody kill me, maybe slip me. They'll pay off some black drug dealer to slip me fentanyl and kill me, and then he'll be the one who goes to prison for it, not them. And he immediately got what I was saying, and I could tell from his body language, his facial expression, he backed off. He knew exactly what was going on, and he was no longer trying to approach me in the way that he originally had. But I couldn't be too obvious about it because I didn't want to get him killed. So anyway, with him standing right there, I just immediately I just looked at the supervisor, Dave. I think it's Dave. Maybe it's John. I don't remember. Sorry, I'm bad with names. That's the autism. And I said, if you look at the interior cameras and watch them up to 15 or 10 minutes before the accident, you'll see all you need to see. I don't remember if I mentioned the road rage or not. I figured Dan would probably fill him in. Because he was standing there, I didn't want to say, oh, he was road raging, and one of his snitches called him out and said, you're going postal on everybody. When I looked at him, his face was like, he was wearing dark glasses, but you could see the rest of his face was like, oh shit. Well, here's the thing. another reason why I didn't say anything about the road rage and him cussing out other drivers and the shit that he was doing is he's acting all innocent. When he's talking to Dave, the supervisor, John, and Dan, and anybody else, he ain't telling them what he was doing. That shows consciousness of guilt. That's mens rea. And I didn't want him, if I had said what was on that video and how it implicated him, he might start trying to justify what he did, and then there goes your mens rea and consciousness of guilt out the door. Where if I left it up to interpretation, now you see how then however he responded after that, if he wasn't being open and honest with you and go, yeah, I got into this one driver cut me off and another one and I told them off. I mean, if there's nothing to hide, why not say? The fact that he was really nervous about what I was telling them to look, why are you telling them to look at the video? Okay, that means his reaction is terror, that you're actually going to watch that video. That proves he knows that he fucked up. So that's why I was real careful. Plus, I don't want to see Dan or the supervisor get killed. And that's what they're capable of. These motherfuckers are Iran-Contra's piece of shit, bringing in drugs, getting people addicted to it, taking their kids away, getting kids addicted to it, both street drugs and pharmacological DEA, Adderall, Ritalin. What's the other one? Can't think of the other one. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. And then lock them up or kill them. Have them try to slit meat. They've killed 4 people by paying off their closest friends and lovers and paramours to OD them with a lethal dose of fentanyl. They're capable of anything. And this now makes him an easy target for special prosecutors and Cousy and the state police. They got him by the balls. This criminal organization is only as strong as their weakest link. And I promise you, if that driver is in this so deep that he's working with the drug dealers who are pushing me drugs, he's in deep. He's got the goods on some big people. Probably Piper herself, probably Weinberger himself, probably Peter Welch, Patrick Leahy, Joan Shannon, individual police officers, the police chiefs, Burke, and whoever else. McAfee, you got him dead to rights. Now, they'll kill him before they let the special prosecutors and Cousy and state police and Jag pinch his ass and get him to roll on everybody else. Because it ain't my word against his this time. This time he's on video road raging. One of them is he's side swipes a woman's vehicle on the left and blames it on a black guy on the right, and he's a big ass fucking bus. Blaming it on a little SUV. That he just couldn't tap the brakes and slow down and let that SUV go by on the other side if that SUV was too close to the center line. That's how all those lynchings happen. Some white guy did something stupid and blamed it on some random minority, whether it be they'd rape a woman and then say, oh, she made me do it, she did this, she did that, and then kill her. Some of them little kids. Sometimes they killed entire families, and that's his mentality. So I was real careful about what I said to, if the driver hadn't been standing there to hear what I told Dave, I would have said a lot more. But also not saying much and making it, I wanted Dave to be able to be undercover, or John, whatever the supervisor's name is. He could just okay, and just act like nothing and act like he don't know nothing, he doesn't understand anything, and doesn't set off any of that way. The guy's comfortable to keep doing whatever deceitful crap he's doing. And then when the supervisor watches the video, he can see how that driver totally misrepresented the whole situation and why he looked so terrified that I was talking to him about watching the video. What else? And that driver, because he's a government contractor, he's mandated to self-report. He doesn't get to not incriminate himself by not talking about how he was road raging at other drivers. And that's been, every time I get on the bus with him, there's at least one or two incidents where he's road raging at somebody. That's why I said, if you watch a lot of watch a lot of the videos of his routes, you're going to see him doing that a lot, probably. So I don't want this video to be too long. We're already at 31 minutes, but there was a lot to go over, a lot to explain. So that's Cryptology Codebreaker Interrogation.